We're on problem number 10 from the homework. Remember, the homework was selected problems, so it skips around a bit. So we have problem number 10, which is m over 3 minus 2m over 5 is equal to 1 over 5. Okay, so now we have to find our least common multiple. The least common multiple of 3 and 5 is 15. So we have to multiply everything by 15. So we have 15 times m over 3 minus 15 times 2m over 5 is equal to 1/5 times 15. Be very careful. Make sure you multiply everything. You have to multiply this other side by 15 or you won't get the correct answer. Okay, 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 times m is 5m. Minus 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 2m is 6m. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3 times 1 is simply 3. Okay, 5m minus 6m is negative 1m, or negative m, same thing. So we have to solve for m, and to do that, we have to divide by negative 1. Since negative 1 is our coefficient on m, it's what's being multiplied by m. So we get m equals negative 3. So here we have m equals negative 3. Okay, problem 19 asks us to sketch the graph of the quadratic. Okay, problem number 19 asks us to sketch the graph of the quadratic. The quadratic equation that's given to us, the parabola that's given to us, is y equals x squared plus 8x plus 12. Okay, we expect this to make a parabola since it's a quadratic, meaning it has an x squared term in it. It's the highest term. But how do we sketch it? Well, we need at least 3 points to make a sketch of a parabola. Let's see if we can find those points with our intercepts. So let's start with the y-intercept because that's the easiest intercept to find. The y-intercept is y when x equals 0. So what's y going to be when x is 0? So let's take our equation, y equals x squared plus 8x plus 12. We're going to plug in 0 for x. So 0 squared plus 8 times 0 plus 12. Well, 0 squared is just 0 times 0, which is 0. 8 times 0 is 0, because anything times 0 is 0, plus 12. That leaves us with y equals 0 plus 0 is 0 plus 12. So y equals 12, which makes my point, the point of my y-intercept, 0, 12. Well, there's a graph given to me, and that graph doesn't include the point 0, 12. So we're just going to file this away. We're going to file it away. We might come back to it in a few minutes. Okay, let's find our x-intercepts. Now our x-intercepts are x when y equals 0. And we find our x-intercepts by either factoring or using the quadratic formula. Well, the quadratic formula will always work, but factoring is oftentimes easier. So let's see if we can factor this quadratic. So we have a diamond and a generic rectangle. So we have x squared and 12. Record. X squared times 12 is 12x squared. And we know that it's going to add to the bx term, which is 8x. So we have to ask ourselves what multiplies to 12x squared and adds to 8x. That would be 6x and 2x. So we're going to plug 6x and 2x back into our generic rectangle. 2x and 12 have 2 in common. X squared and 6x have x in common. X squared and 2x have x in common. 6x and 12 have 6 in common, which leaves us with the factored form of x plus 2 times x plus 6 equals 0. Well, now we can use our zero product property to solve for our x-intercepts. So that's going to be x plus 2 equals 0, and that's going to be x plus 6 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides, and that gives me x equals negative 2. Over here, I'm going to subtract 6 from each side. X equals negative 6. So this point, it's x when y is 0, so it's negative 2, 0. And this point is going to be negative 6, 0. So let's put those on our graph. We've got negative 6, 0, and we've got negative 2, 0. Now we need a third point. So let's find our vertex. Well, the x coordinate of our vertex is the average of our x-intercepts. So negative 6 plus negative 2 over 2. That's what the x value of our vertex is going to be. Negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8. And negative 8 over 2 is negative 4. So we know that the vertex is going to be here when x equals negative 4. But we've got to find out what the y value is going to be. So let's scroll down. Okay, so our equation is y equals x squared plus 8x plus 12. So we know that we care about when x is negative 4. So we're going to plug in negative 4 for x. Every time you see an x, you're going to plug in a negative 4. So you have negative 4 squared, which is negative 4 times negative 4, which is positive 16, plus 8 times negative 4. Well, 8 times negative 4 is negative 32, plus 12. Okay, our y is going to be 16 minus 32, which is negative 16, plus 12, which is negative 4. So this case, our point was negative 4. We plugged in negative 4 for x, and we got out negative 4 for y. So let's make a quick table of our x and y values. We found out that when x is negative 6, y is 0. When x is negative 4, y is negative 4. When x is negative 2, y is 0. And when x is 0, what was y? Y was 12. So we made the table that it asked for. Just cleaning that up. Let's see how many points we'll fit on here. So we know that we can't fit our y-intercept, but we can definitely fit our vertex. So the point negative 4, negative 4. And now that we have these 3 points, we just connect them as smoothly as possible in a curved U shape to sketch our parabola. It should be as symmetric as possible, as curved as possible, and that is a good sketch of our parabola.